Hey, welcome to Caritas Querens. I'd like to share with you a dream I had the other night. It was a terrifying dream. I actually woke up crying, and my wife was like, what's the matter? And I said, oh, I had this awful, awful nightmare. So in this dream I had, one of my sons was dying, just lying on a bed, and I was sitting there with him. He was drifting off and just kind of mumbling a little bit. And at one point, I just looked at him. I said, listen, when you get to heaven, just give God a big hug for me and remember me and mom and all your family here on earth. Remember us. And then he looked at me and he just said, Dad, how do I know I'm going to get to heaven? And that's about the time I just woke up sobbing, inconsolably. And anyway, and I've been thinking about that dream a little bit ever since that time, ever since that day when I woke up like that. And I was thinking, I was thinking also how I haven't been to a funeral for several years, but I was thinking that it seemed like every time I go to a funeral, I would I would just be so sad, and I would just break up crying. And it's not, I don't think it's that I'm just like a really emotional person or anything. um, and maybe people look at me and say like, oh, how that's so sweet. He really misses that person. But really at heart, if I have to be honest with myself, yes, I would miss the people that passed away, but a lot of it was, deep in my heart, I would think, what if this person who has just died, this loved one, what if they go to hell? And what if I never get to see them again? Or if I do, I have to see them suffering interminably, suffering unbearable, unspeakable torments. And so that's what would cause me so much pain and so much sorrow. And going to funerals was just thinking, being uncertain about my loved one's ultimate fates. Now, so I've been thinking about that, and I've been thinking, it's strange, but what if everybody thought like that? What if everybody who believed that there is hell and it lasts forever and some people go there and never get to experience full union with God in heaven, sort of the classical, belief that most Christians seem to have, right? What if everybody who believed that actually followed it through to its logical conclusions? I mean, like, I think you'd see a lot more of that at every funeral. I think you'd see a lot of people just crying and sobbing inconsolably, worried and anxiety about the final fate of their loved ones. I think personally that the only reason you don't see that is because most people can't bear to actually think about it to its to its logical conclusion, and so they just kind of suppress it and or ignore it, or I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But that's how it seems to me. Or I thought, what about if I really had believed that and thought about it fully and thoroughly, could I ever bear to bring a child into this world? I have children, but if I believed that I had no certainty that the child I was going to bring into the world would get to heaven, would enjoy that full union of life with God Himself, but instead might end up in the traditional hell, suffering endlessly. How could I bear to bring a child into the world? How could I bear to take that risk of being responsible for bringing a child into the world who might have that awful, awful fate? And I think if most people believed that, really followed through, on those principles and those ideas, you'd see a lot less children in the world. um, but I do not believe that is God's plan. God is a God who loves children, and He is the Prince of Peace, who gives peace that surpasses understanding. Not the God who wants us to be afraid to welcome new life into the world, for fear that new life might end up spoiled and decaying for all eternity. Not the God who wants us to go to funerals and and cry and sob and mourn without end, worrying that they may never see their loved ones again and get to embrace them in love. No, that's not the kind of God he is. He's the God who makes, who loves all and wants to save all and is powerful enough to save all, so that parents can welcome children into the world lovingly and joyfully and with great hope for them, with great confidence in that hope. And the God who wants us not to rejoice. I'm sorry, not to grieve as the world grieves over dead loved ones, worrying that they might go to some abysmal pit of suffering, but rather the God who has given hope and good news, so that we might miss our loved ones temporarily in this life, but that we might have true hope for them and hope to see them again someday and have great confidence in that hope. So anyway, I hope you don't have dreams like this after hearing this, watching this video and hearing what I had to say. I hope that you are able to have that peace that surpasses all understanding, peace in having that great confidence that God will someday save all and bring all into loving and full union of life with him. If you've appreciated this video at all, I'd appreciate if you would like and subscribe, and maybe share it with somebody else that you think might benefit from it. And please leave any comments that you'd like down below. I'd really appreciate and love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Until next time, adios.